So, Sahara TV, my name is Rudolf Okonkwo, and with me here is Adiola.
Adiola Fayo.
Welcome.
Thank you.
This is our feedback segment where we get your feedback on some of the things we are discussing today. Initially, we're supposed to be talking to General Buhari, but for some reasons, logistic reasons, we are not going to talk to him today, but we plan to have that conversation in the next few weeks. So this is a segment where we give the audience the chance to give us feedback on some of the things we've been talking about. And of course, our main topic today has been Nigeria, the centenary celebration that happened in the last 2 days. And of course, the media chats by President Jonathan on Monday. So before we go to the Skype callers, I know that we have a lot of people who are interested in this conversation. So what has been have you been monitoring the social media? How has people been responding to what we're discussing?
To start with the media chat, that day I was actually on Twitter the whole time that the president was talking, and to my surprise, what was trending was the Borno massacre. People really upset that when will he talk about Borno massacre? So instead of people actually talking about what he's talking about, they were all talking about what he is not talking about. It's a surprise that they waited till almost the end of the media chat before saying anything about security or the Borno massacre, and they only spent like maybe a few minutes and then moved on to other things. So a lot of people were really upset on Twitter that day of the media chat.
Now, do you think, based on, we've seen this media chat, maybe 3 or 4 of them, do you think that it's been helpful to the president or that it's been hurtful? What are you saying?
First of all, I'm not sure if that is what is called a media chat in the standard definition and in most countries. To me, when you just handpick 4 journalists, I don't know if they censored their questions before they started, but you just handpicked 4 journalists. To me, that's not a media chat. In other countries where I've seen the press asking the president questions, you would have sometimes up to 30, 40 journalists from different media organizations asking all kinds of questions that were not censored. So first of all, I mean, they may say that's a media chat, but for me, from what I've seen, that's not a media chat to me. To me, that's Mr. President talking to 4 journalists that they have picked, and I'm very sure these are people that they can probably influence what would be published or what would, that's the way I see it.
I remember the day before I sent a tweet, is that what they call it?
It is a tweet.
To Ruben Abati, and I was saying, why didn't we know the names of the people who will be doing this chat so that we could send them questions? But that was kept secret until the last minute when they were introduced.
And why wasn't it opened to the public as well? Let people join in via Skype or telephone or something and ask questions, even if you only take 5 questions from viewers, from the public. Yeah. So.
Okay. All right. We are going to talk to our Skype callers who are waiting, and I have Yemi in Canada. Yemi, welcome to Sahara TV.
Thank you, Rudolf. Thank you.
I say also thank you to Adiola.
Thank you, Adiola. Sorry.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Adiola.
We have Olufemi. Olufemi, welcome to Sahara TV.
Good afternoon.
Yeah. Olufemi, I don't remember where you are. Sorry. I should know, but I don't.
I am in Minnesota.
Minnesota. Okay. All right. All right. Ejike, is it Ejike in Lagos? Ejike, welcome to Sahara TV.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
Okay. Collie Joe, welcome to Sahara TV.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Rudolf.
Collie Joe is in Canada. Michael, welcome to Sahara TV.
Yeah, hello, Rudolf. Good evening.
Yeah, Michael, where are you?
India.
India.
Morning.
Okay. All right. And Easy B, EB, sorry. Welcome to Sahara TV.
Hey guys, how are you?
Good. So I have Adiola here with me. So all of us will be having this conversation, and I want us to start with the celebration that took place in Nigeria in the last 2 days. Let me start with HK in Lagos. Well, Lagos is no longer the capital. But HK, how are people in Lagos how did they view what has been going on in Abuja, marking Nigeria's 100 years as a nation?
We didn't feel anything. We are doing our normal thing. They wake up and look up.
Were there any events in Lagos as part of that celebration?
There's no event in Lagos, and even in Lagos, you cannot notice that there's anything going on in Abuja.
Wow.
There is no. Okay, all right.
What about, like, was there a public holiday? Did students march in the stadium and all that? You know, at least like we used to do for Independence Day. Nothing.
There's nothing like that in Lagos. We don't have any. There's no event, no activity. We are just watching from the television the thing the president is doing in Abuja. So for us here in Lagos, we are doing our normal day-to-day
He said
activity.
the thing the president is doing.
In Abuja.
Ibi, in Port Harcourt, are there activities? I know it's an opposition state. Are there any activities to connect to what is going on in Abuja?
I'm glad you mentioned it yourself. With being currently an opposition state, there was no particular thing, was very low-key. But monitoring the voices of people who call into talk radio shows here, people were conscious of the event, and they were happy that it went on more of a commemoration than a celebration, given the conditions, you know, in the northeast of Nigeria. But, you know, you only turn 100 once, like you only turn 21 once. So having anybody who has a sense of what it takes to organize an event knows that this thing didn't start anything less than about a year ago. So I think on the basis of having gone this far, got the whole setup right, it took place, and people who watched it had reason to be, you know, satisfied that we commemorated 100 years of Nigeria.
Very good. Now, Yemi, what Ibi was saying, I felt that this was planned more than a year ago. They started planning, so no matter what was going on, I think they should have gone ahead with it. I'm not one of those people that thought that it should be cancelled for any reason. But Yemi, were there things that happened you saw on TV already in the papers that you felt were not appropriate or should not have happened?
Well, not that I know of. I stayed up late to watch Channel TV. They had a little program early in the morning reviewing the program they had on the anniversary, but nothing out of the ordinary, except the Northeast incident, the killing of the college kids, and it was so sad. It's a sad event. But I heard some people were calling for the cancellation, that it should have been rescheduled, but nothing extraordinary out of the norm.
Can I say something on what he just said? And I heard you saying that you're not one of those who were advocating for it to be cancelled. Being that they've been planning this, I wanted to say that personally, I'm not advocating that they should cancel it, but I feel like it could have been postponed. And the question that you asked him about if he saw anything inappropriate, I think I saw some things that shocked me, like some of the people that were giving awards.
Yeah, we are going to get to that. Olufemi, so there were 100 people, list of 100 names that were given awards and honors and certificates for their contribution to Nigeria. And one of them is General Abacha. Just a good example of, there are many names, but Abacha was one of them, and the wife went and received that award on behalf of the family. So what do you think about that list? And do you think that some people should not have been on that list?
Thank you very much. First of all, I don't think that celebration should have I don't think they should have continued with that charade they call celebration. It's very sad. Can you imagine 43 children dying in America today, and Barack Obama will say to Americans that he has one celebration? I bet it will probably be asked to resign maybe in another 24 hours. So on a personal note, I'm very sad about what happened in Nigeria and about the way some Nigerians are responding to it. You understand me? So talking about Basha, I think I just came back from Facebook. I saw somebody saying Abacha was being awarded on the basis of him taking Nigeria from 300 million external reserve to 9-point-something billion external reserve. I'm like, so with all the atrocities committed by General Abacha while he held sway in Nigeria, taking Nigeria from $300 million external reserve to $9.6 billion can now trump all those atrocities, and it will now deserve to be honored on the occasion of the 100 years of Nigeria. So I think as a person, I've been thinking about Nigeria in the last 2-3 weeks. I think Nigerians need to come together and just think. It's like we have lost our minds. It's like the people don't even think straight anymore. I can't imagine a nation that has just lost 43 or 49 of our future.
59.
And saying we are gathering together, shaking hands and laughing on the TV. It is a very sad situation, and I don't think that celebration should have gone ahead.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. Let me go to Collejo. Someone has their live stream up. Please, can you turn it down so that it doesn't interfere with our conversation? Collejo, some people rejected this honor, including Wole Soyinka, the Kuti family, and Gani Faweme's family. So, do you think that was the wrong move on their parts, or should that have been the right thing to do, especially in terms of the condition of the country at the point? And some people, like the Gani Faweme family, they were saying that some people who were being honored, they cannot accept that honor when other names were there. So what do you think about people who rejected that honor?
Those people that rejected the honor, I'm not going to say, I don't know how to put it. Those are like oppositions. Those are the people already against the government already. So no matter what the government do, they are not going to see anything good in it. So they are going to eventually say no. But again, what they did is right, because they were given an award to Chinua Achebe when he was alive. And he didn't collect that. And he told the president to fix things first of all before he can collect any award. So it's a surprise for me to hear Abacha on that list. And at least I would have preferred Obasanjo than Abacha, at least for some reason. Not that Abacha is a devil, but he's close to being one. But seeing Abacha on that list, first of all, I want to ask you a question, Rudolf. Who compiled this list?
Well, it's a lot of people in government. I think maybe people in the ministry.
Babangida was also on the list.
Now, let me ask you, Collejo, before you go. Let me ask you. You were saying that these people were members of the opposition, but Buhari also went and received the honor when he is the head of the opposition. So I don't think it's just about being a member of the opposition.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So Buhari collected his own award.
Yes, he was there, and I wanted to ask him that question today, but he has. We've not been able to connect with him, but we will do that.
One more question: If you're saying so, is Jonathan's government that compiled this entire list?
Yes.
Okay. Wow.
All right, hold on there. Who is speaking?
Femi.
Okay, Femi, go ahead.
Yeah, you see, let's. It is a good thing that Nigeria turns 100, but I think it would have been a better thing if Nigerians are not as divided as we are today.
Okay.
So, looking at the situation of things in Nigeria, forget about the kids that died now, forget about Boko Haram. Nigeria is too divided for us to be talking about 100 years of celebration.
But we are not yet divided yet.
Okay. You guys hold on. Let's get to Michael in India. Michael, I want to find out how old is India, and watching this from where you are, what are you seeing? Watching the whole thing that happened in Abuja.
Michael.
I think we lost Michael.
Oh, we lost Michael. Okay. Yeah. All right. So let me go back to Lagos. Ejike, are you there?
I'm there.
Okay.
I'm here.
Okay. So you can see. The perception of people outside the country. I'm always interested in the difference between how people outside the country they are seeing what is happening and people inside the country. Now, the people in Lagos, you said that there was no sign, no sign that this event was taking place in Abuja. And what are the papers reporting today?
Mostly what the paper are reporting about the killing of those children and the murder, how the soldiers are fleeing, how they are being withdrawn before the attack. I think the paper mostly focus on the killing of those innocent children. And I think what we are experiencing in Nigeria, like one person said there, that we are more divided today than ever. And we are celebrating 1 year of being together. I don't agree on this, that we are together. At least for today, our president we have is ethnic president. He's not the national president who can unite Nigeria. So I don't think we are celebrating anything. So in Lagos, even the papers are not even reporting much about this celebration. They're only focusing on this killing of those children. And I was just imagining in my mind how people, if you are a parent and your child is involved in this thing, and you are somewhere trying to hold a celebration that you are celebrating 1 year. I don't see anything we are celebrating at all. So the whole thing about this government makes me feel sad. Thank you very much. Okay.
What do you think about the view of cross-section of Nigerians that we're talking to now? How they see this? Can you see any kind of coming together of these views? Or if you are someone in Abuja watching this, how do you think people are receiving what the message you're passing across?
Right now, I don't think I care about how people in Abuja are receiving any message, because people in Abuja don't care about whatever message we have, whatever message the common people have. So I stopped caring about what people in Abuja think a long time ago. But in case they are watching, all these celebrations that they've been putting on is not helping anybody at all. Like the first person said, this thing that the president is doing. As far as I'm concerned, the president and his officials are the ones that are celebrating. Anybody that's in their right mind knows that this is not the time to celebrate. They don't have to cancel it, but they can postpone it, at least in honor of the... It's actually 60 boys that were killed. In honor of the 60 boys that were killed in Yobe, apart from the 106 that were killed in Borno just before that, and before the 106 that were killed in Borno, more than 250 were killed at the beginning of February in Borno. We're looking at almost 500 people that died in February alone. So what's there to celebrate? They can postpone it in honor of these people, at least to put in more effort in going after the killers. They're still out there. So that means, as a matter of fact, while they were celebrating was when Boko Haram released another video of themselves parading. So there's no security whatsoever, and they are celebrating. I don't see what they are celebrating. They can wait until all these things are sorted out, until they go after the Boko Haram killers and actually have some kind of success, and then everybody would feel like celebrating more. So I don't see what they're celebrating.
Okay, we are going to go to Boko Haram issue along the line with the media chat, but let me find out from Ebi. Ebi, so the people in Abuja looking at a cross-section of Nigerians like the way we have now discussing this, do you think that they will feel that they succeeded with this celebration, or that they will feel that it was a failure in the sense that Nigerians did not relate to that and did not feel that it was necessary or it did anything for them? What was their goal? Do you have any idea if they will have that kind of sense that they achieved their goal with this? In fact, I wanted to address the issue also. They kept saying that there will be world leaders and that a lot of world leaders were coming. I looked and I don't know if, did you see world leaders over there? Ebi?
Yeah, there were, first of all, I restate that it was a commemoration of 100 years of the unification by the colonialists. The current mood of the country was somber. It was also sober in that place. Sure, there's an element of coming together and giving awards and all that, but I don't know that there was any rhapsodic, overjoyed happiness in that room. And it must be understood that the people who were in that room are also equally and keenly aware of the circumstance. What surprises me so much in this discourse, though, is how so much in fact, I don't hear anybody actually talking about the criminals who perpetuate these things. As much as we are looking for security, we expect safety, we mourn the death of these 59, 60 odd people. These are children. I went to an FGC myself, so it's put me back into a place that makes my hair stand, because you were with children of all backgrounds from all parts of the country, and all of us were basically eating gari together. No real difference. I can imagine somebody knocking on the door, coming through the gates and killing us. It was horrifying. That said, there was a plan to do a centenary commemoration. They invited people from different walks of life within and outside the country. About 3 out of 100 said no. It is their inalienable right to reject the award. That's the beauty of a free society. 97 out of 100 accepted the award. That, to me, is considered a good pass. I think the people who set out to do this event, with all the logistics and everything behind the scene, set out to do it. It happened on time, and it was despite and in spite of those forces of darkness that would have us jump and move away from what is planned. You see, it is very important to understand that Nigeria as a country can walk and chew gum at the same time. We can look for criminals who are doing crimes, and we can carry out a centenary celebration, commemoration, anyhow you want to call it. So the idea of us saying everything must stop, it means the terrorists have won. I believe that it's important to have the normal steps of a country going on, while at the same time looking for people who are doing asymmetrical attacks at the country. At the end of the day, there are steps being taken. I understand from merely reading that everybody can do on Google that they are attempting to close the border between us and Cameroon. There are maybe more friendly relations between us and France, which will help us with Cameroon diplomacy. And there are processes that, well, the military takes that I, not being a professional soldier, in any form or way, I cannot second guess. It is not helpful to second guess or denigrate the army because I am grieving. I can grieve and still support those who are going after pure, unadulterated criminals.
All right. Thank you so much, Ibe. Let's go to the media chat, and let's start from what the president said about Boko Haram. Can you remind our Skype callers what
first of all, he said that there has been successes. He said there has been successes, and people are not looking at that. And that Boko Haram started from Abuja, but now they've been able to push them back. They've been able to push them to the fringes. So he said, if the soldiers are not working, we won't be able to live freely in Abuja. And that makes me wonder if Abuja is Nigeria.
All right. So on that, based from that, I'll go to you, Yemi. Yemi, you watched that the video of the president talking about Boko Haram, especially his reaction to the governor of Borno State, Shetima, who said that the military, they were not motivated, and they were not as armed as Boko Haram members. What do you think about the president's answer?
Well, President Goodluck Jonathan, I think he's not a orator. He's not a good he's not good with handling words. So we can get that from the way he responds to interviews, even on CNN. Most of the things he say, when you try and fact check it, you don't really meet it the way he said it. And it's unfortunate because I watched what the governor said, Governor of Borno, and he was very emotional. The governor was really, really emotional because I think he's gotten to that point whereby nobody's helping him, and he's just helpless. And that's why the reaction you get for him, he wasn't speaking as a governor. He was speaking like a father. We are dying over here, and nobody's helping us. And the reaction from the president was to water down what he said, which is very obvious, that what the government is saying is not really what is happening on ground, that the soldiers are actually making progress. But look, it's not rocket science. If Boko Haram is losing the battle, everybody would know. And right now, I was going to work the other day. It was just quiet everywhere. That all this.
Okay. Sorry. Yemi, is that your baby that was crying?
That's educate.
Educate. Okay. Educate. Okay. Please help us because we want to hear what Yemi was saying. Okay. Yemi, go ahead.
So I was going to work the other day. Even Canadians over here, they know the news. They just ask, "You're Nigeria. What's happening in Nigeria? Why all this killing? Boko Haram." Everybody knows about them, and that shows you the wave at which these Boko Haram people are having an edge over the military government. Now, for one point, I really want to drive home. Even going away from Boko Haram, I think the Nigerian people, like what Nelson said, the Nigerian people themselves, they have a huge problem. They have a very huge problem. Something crystal clear. You still see people on the side of what is totally wrong. So the Nigerian society, I've said it before on Sahara Reporters, that the Nigerian society is getting to that point. What if you are doing the right thing? You are the crazy person. If you are doing the wrong thing, you are the right person. And when a society has gotten to that point, I don't know why the people are not rising to this challenge and call the people in government to call. Look at what's happening in Ukraine. They shut down the government. That look, until something right is done, we're not going to shift anywhere. But the problem of Nigeria is either bad or good. You still have people supporting the bad people. And it's so sad. People are dying. I lost a cousin. To armed robbery in Lagos. It was somebody with 2 kids. He just got married. And people, do you know how many lives we've lost on Lagos-Ibadan Express Road? People are dying every day. And we don't see an uprising.
Okay. Yemi, we'll come back to you. We're sorry about your loss. Let's go to Olufemi. Olufemi, I want you to talk about the president's answer to Sanusi, the suspension of the central bank governor. He gave an answer. I don't know. I hope you watched it. But essentially what he was saying was that there were allegations against the central bank governor and that the best thing was for him to step aside. And after the investigation of the allegation, if nothing was against him, he could come back and continue. So I wanted to tell me, what do you think about the president's answer to that? And if that is a good approach, why hasn't that been done in other cases where there were allegations against government officials?
Thank you very much, Mr. Okonkwo. You see, I think when I heard that, I think my first response is, what a better way to build confidence in your economy? All over the world, CBN governors, as we call them here, the Fed chair, they are the one people look up to. They are, every word that comes out of their mouth is being passed. It's being passed to measure what is going on with the economy. And now we have a president that say, okay, oh, my Fed share is suspended. And by the way, oh, don't worry, the Fed share might come back tomorrow. So I don't know a better way. Maybe I don't know a worse way to build confidence in the economy of your nation by doing that, by engaging in so much inconsistencies. So again, of course, he said the governor needs to go through some investigation and all those kind of things. But by the way, the reports, the alleged reports that made him to suspend the governor was submitted to him in 2012. And we had reports that were submitted to him in 2030, maybe by the time 2020 come, if he after he left, he must have left the office, then he will come back and suspend the petroleum minister. Then he will come back and maybe fire the aviation minister. So
all right. Hold on. We'll come back to you. Let me announce that after this segment of Skype calls, we are going to have another segment where we are going to talk about Showale, our publisher, Omoyele Showere's trip to Nigeria. You know that last week he was in Nigeria and he went through West Africa and he covered a lot of events, including the arrival of Sanusi after he was suspended. And we had that interview. We had exclusive interview with Sanusi, which Showere did. And we are going to talk about what you think about that trip. There have been so many comments and controversies, and we want to give you the chance to talk to us and get feedbacks. And we are going to also take, maybe we can get him to also join us and answer your questions. So that will be coming up after this segment. Now, let's continue our discussion on the media chat. Kolijo, something that happened at that media chat was one of the things the president said about Sanusi. And I want to ask you if the president said that he had absolute power to fire anybody. The language of the president, I don't know if you've been following the president and his utterances. The language of the president sometimes I feel doesn't help to convey the message he wanted to convey very well. What do you think about the president having absolute power, which means there is no checks and balances? Especially when we know that what the law, the constitution said about the way to remove the central bank governor. What is your take on that?
Remember, in the previous programs, I told you before, and I'm going to say it again, we are operating, an anarchist system in a democratic phase. So him saying that is what we could hear from someone like Castro. It's what we could hear from the communist leaders. So he could say that, the president can fire anyone. Rudolf, you shouldn't be surprised. We never follow procedures in the country. So even if I heard, I don't know if that is true, they canceled the court case Sanusi was about to embark on. Because he's not going to win. You can't win against a government like Jonathan's one. You understand what I mean?
Yes.
So for him, for the president to say that he can remove anybody he wants, that's the way the country has been operating that way, and which shows you, and that's why it drives me crazy when people start to talk about democracy in a country that never ever had a democracy. Our democracy is paper. So it's not practical. So that is the problem. So he's a military leader.
Okay. Let's stop there. Let me go to Michael. Michael, I heard that you are back. Michael in India. Michael, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. Good
Okay.
evening.
All right. I want you to address the kerosene subsidy. The president also addressed that during the media chat. He essentially said that. What did he say? Can you remind our
that he didn't need to be briefed that he was part of the government that did that.
So the president was saying about the directive that kerosene subsidy should not be honored. The directive from Yaradua. So the president said that he was the vice president when that was discussed, and that he knew how it came to be. So essentially, he knew that there was a subsidy on kerosene, and he knew when the budgets were sent to him as the president, last year's budget and the year before, that there were no money for subsidy on kerosene, and that the NNPC they've been paying for subsidy on kerosene, and that is not budgeted, and that is outside the appropriation process. So now we know that he is aware of this, and they didn't do anything about this for all these years. So what do you think should be the proper reaction if in a country, the president of the country acknowledged that he's purely aware of all these things we are talking about, that money has been going away through the NNPC, that nobody's aware of how much is going away and the way it's going to, whom they are going to? What is your reaction?
Rudolf, you said money is going away. Money is not going away. The money is going into his account and the account of his subordinates. So he actually knows where the money is going, right? So, I mean, this is a debatable issue in a country where we have people who are, reasonable enough to ask questions, like I said last week. Now, If the president can come and tell the nation that I know that this is going on, then he's corrupt. He knows this is going on for this many years. I was watching the petroleum minister saying that kerosene is a kerosene subsidy, that they have to put subsidy on kerosene or the people of the country would suffer, and he was making a whole mess of the whole issue when she was facing the Senate. When you are subsidizing corruption, it's a crazy issue. Now the president coming forward to tell you that, okay, I know this has been happening. What is the reaction of the people of the country? That is the first thing you should ask yourself. And I told Anson last week that the reason why this is happening in Nigeria is because the government, they know us very well. That whatever they throw in front of us, we take it. And that is the more reason why they are refusing to educate and enlighten the Nigerian people. Do you know why they are not developing an education system? They knew that if this many people are educated, they know about this whole thing. More, if we are producing more lawyers, barristers, people who are knowledgeable, who can ask questions, they know that anyhow they will be exposed. This is something that's been happening for a long time. No government who has come into power doesn't know that corruption has been there. But for him to come out and say, I know it's there, it's a shame on him. It's a shame on the people of the country. For not even asking again, sir, you know this is happening. Yeah. But they didn't even ask. Everybody, we take everything so lightly.
Yeah.
Can I jump in?
Call it Joe. Okay, go ahead.
I think Mike, you're right, but you're making a mistake saying Nigerians don't know. From what I've been reading on Facebook, social media, all these people, they're educated. But again, they fail to ask. So they actually know.
See, education does not mean, education, being educated, does not mean that you are
aware.
Informed, you are aware.
That's true.
See, education, you may be a doctor, and you may not know what is happening in your country. You may just be a guy who knows something about your profession.
All right, all right. I have to stop you guys because I want us to talk about national conference briefly. One question to each of you before we round up this segment. And of course, when we get to the end, I'm going to ask you about what is keeping you up at night. So national conference, let me come to you, EJK in Lagos. It's happening tomorrow. I think next week. It's starting next week. A lot of states they've named their delegates, and they are all heading to Abuja. EJK, do you get the feeling that something big is going to happen soon in Abuja? That we have an impact on the structure of the country and the new constitution, or that we change the country in a fundamental way? Do you have that sense in Lagos?
When they talk about national conference, I laugh over it because, well, one thing I found out is that this government they are good in committee. If you find out they are set, you can count a lot of committee that are set out, and all these committees have their recommendations which have not been carried out. So national conference they are calling is part of their committee, and this committee they spend money on them. Is an avenue of siphoning our money. So it's a part of those committees. So what do you think that will come out from this kind of committee again? Nothing. So if we talk about national conference, what are we going to do? Even from my own state or even in Lagos, who do you know that is going to represent you to talk about what you feel about this country? So you find out that is an activity in futility. You understand? So we are not going to achieve anything. And common Nigeria don't have any input on it.
Okay, hold on. Hold on. Ebi, you are in Port Harcourt. I don't know if the River State government, they've announced who they are sending. But I know that Ogun State government announced, Yoruba group announced, the Ohanese Ndibo announced. So what is the sense over there? Are people gearing up and ready to watch this issue of Nigeria discussed, the way forward?
Well, to the best of my knowledge, they are being distracted by idle and indolent infighting amongst themselves for stupid political turf. And it's making us suffer because actual projects on the ground are not going on. I haven't really heard of the kind of group approach that I've heard from the Southwest. I'm sensing from the South. I've heard that some northern elders have said they're not participating, but I've heard that some other people say they're participating. At the end of the day, it's a platform. You know, there's something called the law of unintended consequences. You might say, oh, this can never work. But if you sit down and make it work for you, then you might get a result you didn't intend or didn't expect. So it's a platform. There are lots of grievances in the country. There's a lot of angst in the land. So this can provide a place where people can air their grievances. Sometimes that's what people need to feel, that they have been heard and that their considerations are also part of the larger picture. When President Jonathan said the unity of Nigeria will not be discussed, that's when I realized he was a statesman, because this was a prime opportunity for somebody who is a son of the oil soil to say, you know what, all y'all go to hell. But he said, we will keep this country as one. And I suspect there's a reason for that. Let me just round up. When you and anybody are having an argument, when you have a lot of heat and passion, a lot of decisions can be taken for the wrong reason. So I think to put a framework where we shall discuss how to make this work is not altogether bad.
Okay, thank you so much. Yemi, the national conference is taking place, whether you like it or not. Do you feel represented by anybody? And are you looking forward? What are you looking forward to see or hear them discuss? What major points do you want them to discuss?
Rudolf, this is not the first time we've been having conferences. They start with the same way like this, and they end up with the same results. Now, funny enough, going out of the confab issue, I think Nigerians, like someone asked a question earlier on, why does Nigerians abroad, why do they always have the same kind of ideology? Why people living in Nigeria that are suffering, their ideology is totally different? Because if you ask anybody outside Nigeria, irrespective of tribe or religion, their ideology synchronizes. But people within Nigeria, they have divided ideology. And what is it? What causes it? It's very simple. Basic amenities. I have food, I have light, I have good roads, I have health. Then I'll start thinking in a different perspective. But unfortunately, for years, this is not about Jonathan. This is for years we've been suffering in the hand of bad leadership, from one bad leadership to another. And we have now not come to our senses as a people, come together as a people and take this leadership and give it to the right people. Let's get right leadership. We don't need confab. We don't need anything. We just need basic amenities. And corruption is our problem. If we can sort corruption, forget confab, we will live in harmony. We will love each other. It's basic amenities, just basic.
Okay, thank you, Yemi. I'll come to you, but let me ask Olufemi. Is it possible to solve the issue of corruption, like Yemi was referring to, without dealing with the structure that encourages that corruption?
Absolutely not. So to be very frank with you, I don't see how we are going to deal with corruption without first dealing with the status quo. You understand me? So that is why I don't have a lot of confidence in the so-called national conference. I appreciate what Mr. Bozimo said about the law of unintended consequences. You see, but we must also remember that this is not the first confab we have had. This is not the second confab we have had. And if history is going to be our teacher, we already can extrapolate from those experiences and know where this one is going to end up. Now we have an election coming up in 2015, and this is February 2014. We are saying we want to do confab. Who does that? As far as I know, now by October or September or whatever month, campaign is going to say that the nation is going to be in a full mode campaign. So, and we are talking about sitting down now for how many months? If we say we want to solve Nigeria, for how many months are these people going to sit down? what are going to be the topics. So it's very unfortunate that we have a leadership that is just confused, and they are being followed by equally confused people. You understand me? So, of course, everyone, we all want to sit down and solve Nigeria problems. We all want to do that. If you give me the Nigerian leadership today, I know exactly, like Yemi said, if you ask 5 Nigerians, everybody knows what Nigeria problems are. So I don't think we need some
conference. Okay, let's go to College Joe. College Joe, what do you think? Do you think we need conference, and do you have any confidence that it's going to come up with solutions?
I think we fail to be optimistic. We always fail to see. Now nobody wants to discuss. Everyone is saying we're going to receive the same results. That's the only problem I have with Nigerians. Now we are saying let's just discuss. If we do not come together, some people say, "Oh, we don't want to come together."
But we have National Assembly that have been there for 15 years. They are from different parts of the country.
Thank you, Femi.
Hold on. Now
have they not been discussing?
Hold on. Because now everyone is saying, "Oh, we don't." The question I keep asking myself from one program to program we do on this show is, what is the way forward? We're going to say we don't want this, we don't want that. Olufemi said we can solve if it's a leader. It's easier said than done. You can actually say that and get there. And
can I say something? Excuse me, can I say something here?
I can actually say Jonathan had that mindset of solving corruption before he came in there.
But when he got there, he changed his mind.
But when they got there, what happened?
all right. Let's now. Let me. What do you think? Okay, let's go to Michael and hear his opinion. Michael, let me go to Michael. After Michael, then we have a bigger discussion. Michael, what do you think about the national conference? What if? I mean, people are saying this. What if at the end they come up and say, okay, we are going to extend Jonathan's administration by 2 more years? And get the law passed by the National Assembly, and that becomes a new law. I mean, there are possibilities, things that could come out of it. People forgot that the idea of the 6 regions that we have now came out from a conference that I think Abacha had. So something good can come out of this, or something bad. And what if it fails? What do you think about this, Michael?
Rudolf, who is going to represent you there? That's my first question. Personally, I don't know who is representing me there.
Well, yeah, there's somebody representing you, where you come from, whatever profession you are part of. There's somebody representing people who are abroad, so you may not know the person, but obviously someone will represent you. My issue with the conference is that there's not enough consultation. So for instance, the guy, whoever is representing the people abroad, we don't know him. We don't even know how to send our ideas to him to say, okay, when you get there, talk to them about this. We want to vote, for instance. How do we talk to the person? We don't know the person. So there are people representing you.
We are saying the same thing. We don't know. How are we sure that the person who is representing us is not unpicked by the same people? I mean, the issue is a very complex and complicated issue, my brother.
But Rudolf, yeah. The point. See, I know they are going to pick people that will represent us. But why I'm happy is that at least they're having this discussion. Rudolf, remember before I told you.
Hold on. I think this is a very high. These people are trying
this discussion.
Rudolf.
Why?
Okay. Let's have College Joe speak. Then I'll come to you, Ejike. I think.
Why I'm emphasizing? I'm not supporting anything, but why I'm emphasizing that this is important because this discussion is showing us that probably we may have a presidential debate next year. Do you understand where I'm going? Which is something I've been looking forward to.
It will never happen.
Okay. Let me hear Ejike. Ejike wanted to say something. Ejike, go ahead.
Yeah, presidential debate that were concocted last time. Did you forget?
Okay, Olufemi, let's hear Ejike. Go ahead, Ejike.
What I want to say is this: president wants to have a national conference. Why not the first year of this government?
Very good point.
Why not the first year of this government? So that they can have 1 year of debating and after coming to a conclusion. But now we are going into election, which I know that maybe when the campaign is going on, nobody's going to talk about confirm anymore. So all these things are things this government do to deceive people, to sell people's sympathy.
Okay, all right. We have to end it here because next week we are going to be talking about what they are discussing at the conference. So we will have enough time to talk about this national conference.
Rudolf, one question before you go.
Okay.
What if this turns out to be positive?
Okay, all right. No answer to that question, but that's good. Now let me come to each of you and ask you what is keeping you up at night, and then we go to the second segment, where we ask new people to call in. But if the people that are joining us now they want to talk.
Before you ask people what's keeping them up tonight, Collie Joe, where are you?
He's in Canada.
I'm in Canada.
Why are you not in Nigeria at this time? And is there anything you're getting in Canada that you may not get in Nigeria? Why would you prefer to live in Canada?
Thank you, my sister. I like that question.
That's a very brilliant question. I have plans of going back, of course. You know, you get what I mean?
After how many years? How many years have you been in Canada?
Hold on. The reason for being in Canada is a different thing altogether.
No. Answer the question. Why are you not in Nigeria?
Of course, once time comes for me to go back.
Everybody has a plan to go home.
Did you go to school in Canada? And why didn't you go to school in Nigeria?
Actually, we have the bio of College Joe. He went to school in Canada, and they paid $25,000 a year at the school that he went to.
And then my next question for you, College Joe, is can you say exactly the positive things that you know will come out of this conference?
I believe.
Thank you, my sister.
Hold on. Before that, I believe in conversation.
That's not the question. Can you say the positive results that you know will come out?
One positive that will come out from this discussion is that the opposition, they may end up agreeing on some basic things.
Like what?
You don't have the point here.
Please let him talk. Like what?
They may end up agreeing that, as Rudolf mentioned, for the people in the diaspora to vote. They may end up, I know that...
But is the opposition the one that will make that decision? You're talking about the opposition.
The opposition can bring that on the table, that they want those in the diaspora to vote. Those are the things
So please let him talk. And apart from that, is there any other positive result that you know will come out of it that will actually benefit the common people?
Another positive result that will come out of it is that there will be pressure on the present government to provide the result on the missing money now.
Who said that?
So you don't think there is pressure right now on the government to...
When I mean the pressure now is...
All right. We have to stop it. We don't have time. We are going to continue this discussion on the national conference next week, of course. But let me come to each of you. I will ask you to be very brief, like 10 seconds. What is keeping you up at night? I'll start with you, Ejike, in Lagos.
You can see we don't normally have lights. Every place is stuffy, so this keeps me very late.
Okay.
So the weather is too hot.
All right. Ebi, what's keeping you up at night?
Caustic and unnecessary cynicism about everything based on Nigeria. When in a Google-enabled world, people can simply find out the truth. So many people just listen to what somebody else is saying and then go like an echo chamber propagating falsehood. A lot of things I've heard this evening are wrong, and it's easy to read them up. It keeps me up at night. We need to put on our critical thinking caps and use them.
Now, I know we don't have time, but Ebi, I wanted to say that you lived abroad, and I know that one day we'll have the time to have a discussion with you on what changed in terms of your perception of Nigeria when you were abroad and now that you are home. So we hope you continue to join us, okay?
Completely.
All right.
My pleasure.
All right. Yemi, what's keeping you up at night?
Well, it's Nigeria. By 1 a.m. I'm still watching Channel TV, trying to update myself what's going on.
Okay. Yemi, were you the one playing your live stream? We can't hear you anymore.
No, I'm not playing right.
Okay, go ahead.
So the fact Nigeria people are not rising up and shouting out to request for change, asking the right question from government to provide them their basic amenities.
All right. Olufemi, what's keeping you up at night?
I think Yemi said it is the indifference nature of Nigeria to the actual problem. I don't know. We all know what is going on in Nigeria. We see it, we read it, contrary to what Mr. Bozimo said. We all know the truth. The problem with Nigeria is what what Yemi has earlier said, that the people of Nigeria just behave as if we just behave as if nothing is going on, as if everything is smooth. We all know that nothing is smooth. So again, another thing is the fact that as long as you can take care of yourself and your immediate family, whatever may be happening to the next door neighbor, the other child across the street, it doesn't concern you, and that one bothers me a lot.
All right, College Joe, what's keeping you up at night?
What is keeping me up at night? One is the fact that Nigerians are diverting from the solution to the problems and dwelling so much on the problem. Because that is really, really important to move us forward. Because that's the only way we can move forward. But we keep on dwelling on that problem. Okay. And that is where probably we'll remain for a long time.
Well, maybe next Skype call, we just talk about solutions, and you start with that. You'll be the first to start.
You made my day, Rudolf.
Michael, what's keeping you up at night?
Rudolf, I finally found something keeping me up. It is the problem of Indian companies treating our citizens like slaves. Rudolf, can you imagine an Indian company paying a graduate $25,000 in a month in a country of the person? Do we have a labor law at all? What is the government doing about this? They should please do something about it. But I'm not surprised if the minimum wage of, from the government is 18,000. Then the Indian people can pay us 25.
All right. Thank you so much. What is do you have final comments to make on
there's nothing that keeps me up at night. I sleep very well, by God's grace. But it bothers me that a lot of Nigerians are making excuses for this government, and I think it's because they've never been directly affected by all the atrocities going on, especially by Boko Haram killings. I don't think that anybody who have lost a son, a daughter, or a loved one would come up with excuses for this government. This government is not doing all that it can do to curb Boko Haram.
All right, Yemi, I want to thank Yemi in Canada. Yemi, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Rudolf. I appreciate it.
Olufemi, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Rudolf. Thank you, Diola, for that last comment.
Thank you.
Ejike, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, my brother. Diola, you are good in your explanations.
Okay, College Joe, thank you so much for joining us.
Rudolf, it's always a pleasure having you, and Adiola is good. I love those questions anyway.
Okay, Michael, thank you so much for joining us in India.
Yeah, thanks.
So we're going to listen to Dr. Damages, right?
Yes, and Ibe, thank you so much for joining us.
It's AB and Adiola and Rudolf. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you.
All right, thank you guys. And just remember that we are going to come back again to discuss the trip of the publisher of Sahara Reporters, Omoyele Sowore, to Nigeria and other parts of West Africa. We're going to show you the clips, we're going to show you the audio, and we're going to take your questions because a lot of people are raising a lot of questions about the trip. Whatever you want to know, we have the answers for you, so stay tuned.